The biggest problem registered nurses who are trying to get fit have is staying consistent with a solid plan. And after coaching over 50 nurses at MedStar Hospital during COVID, I've developed a simple system to help RNs stay consistent with eating and working out correctly. But most nurses have never heard of this simple strategy to maintain a healthy and fit life while working 12-hour shifts, especially when dealing with things like burnout and menopause. In this video, I'm going to break down exactly why developing a system that fits a life of 12s and unpredictable chaos is the only sustainable way for registered nurses to stay fit and regain their energy and confidence. Most fitness advice isn't built for healthcare workers, especially nurses working 12-hour shifts. A lot of nurses are burnt out. They're extremely stressed, and this has caused them to live in a state of survival mode. And a lot of nurses don't know how to handle this properly. A lot of people don't know how to handle this kind of survival mode state properly, and most people, especially nurses, they tend to go into emotional eating, right? So the increased stress is making them eat whatever they want at crazy times of the day because they're working inconsistent schedules, odd schedules, sometimes rotating from day to night shift. And it's extremely hard to develop any type of proper routine when you're in survival mode working 12-hour shifts. And this is why a lot of nurses are really finding a hard time to stay consistent, because the nature of nursing makes it 10 times harder to prioritize your health. And I keep hearing from nurses, Dominion, I need more motivation. I need more willpower. Like, how do I get motivation? It's not gonna work that way. Motivation is up and down. It fluctuates. It's like your feelings, right? So you can't build any type of consistency if you only wanna rely on motivation, right? You need structure, because structure is the only thing that withstands things that change, right? You can have a house, and if it's windy, right, the Bible says a house built on a rock will withstand the storms. But a house built on sand with no structure, sand has no structure, the waves, the wind, the storms of life is gonna knock it down, right? So you need to have structure to be able to stay consistent while working as a registered nurse. So this is what a system actually looks like for registered nurses who want to stay consistent with their health. You got to move properly, right? No more, I need to do 2 hours of cardio a day. I need to work out 6 days a week. That's not going to work for a registered nurse's lifestyle, right? It's going to be extremely hard to stay consistent with that. Whereas the better way is to only work out 3 times a week. That's all you need, is 3 times a week, 45 minutes focused on strength and mobility training. Right? These are the trainings that you need to help stay consistent so you can be a fit, healthy, and sexy nurse. Alongside with the fitness is we need to be consistent with nutrition. And this is probably the hardest part for a lot of nurses, is what to eat, when to eat, how to eat. Now, focusing on your main macros, your carbs, protein, and fats, right? Every meal should have healthy carbs, healthy protein, healthy fats. If your plate doesn't look like that, you're going to end up being in a deficit, which is why people have deficiencies. So making sure that, hey, you have a system, you have a nutrition plan where you know that every meal is going to consist of these healthy carbs, healthy proteins, and healthy fats is going to go a long way to keeping you consistent, because it's going to help you see results, right, when you're eating the right way. And alongside of this is having a palette of foods. This is what we train our clients in the Hot Nurse Protocol is. We create a palette of foods, like 5 to 7 meals that are like go-to meals for when they're working. Because when they're working 3, 4, 5 days in a row, it's extremely hard, like I said earlier, to have that high decision-making power to be like, oh, I want to make this and I'm going to make this 45-minute meal. You're not going to do that. You're going to end up grabbing something from McDonald's, right? So when you have those 5 to 7 palette of extremely nutrient-dense foods that are easy to make, very time efficient, this is going to keep you consistent over weeks, over months, over years, because it's something easy for you to follow. Alongside this is you need to have a proper recovery system. If you're not having optimized sleep and consistent stress management, all of this that we just mentioned before, the fitness and nutrition, it's going to be for nothing, because a lot of nurses don't understand that when the body is extremely stressed, there's a lot of cortisol in the system. And when you have high cortisol, it's basically impossible to lose weight. This is a fail-safe by God, that if your body is riddled with cortisol, the last thing the body wants to do is to lose weight, which is energy for the body. We see it as weight, but the body views it as energy, right? The fat, the stored fat, It's energy. And when there's high cortisol in the body, it doesn't know if you're getting chased by a lion. It doesn't know if there's a scarcity of food, right? So we need to have a proper stress management protocol to help lower the cortisol and keep it at bay while working stressful shifts, plus having good sleep quality, right? And when I say good sleep quality, I mean third stage REM sleep. That's when your body's rebuilding the muscle. Not when you're in the gym, it's ripping the muscle fibers in the gym. Not when you're eating, you're just fueling yourself, right? But all of the growth happens in third stage REM sleep. And if you're not having good sleep because you're only sleeping 4 hours, or you're eating right before you sleep, or you're drinking right before you sleep, or you're staring at a blue light phone for 2 hours before you sleep, a couple list of factors that really mess up REM sleep. If you're doing those things, you're not having good sleep, right? And this is what's going to make weight loss extremely hard, staying fit extremely hard, and being consistent with these things, because you'll be doing the fitness, you'll be doing the nutrition, but because your cortisol and your nervous system is jacked up, you're not seeing the fruits of your labor. So these are mistakes that a lot of nurses make that is really making it hard for them to be consistent. And honestly, number one is just the motivation piece, right? Relying on motivation, waiting for some magical energy to fall on you so you can go to the gym, so you can go eat this food. It never works that way. Like we said earlier, we need to have structure, and that's what a system does. A good system gives you structure to keep you in line, just like the hospital, right? The hospital has a system. You go in, there's huddle, and then maybe after huddle, you have some admits, and then maybe after that, you have med pass, and then maybe in the middle or towards the end, I know you have to chart, you have to do this and that, to make sure that the nurses can deliver optimal patient care, regardless if a nurse or two calls out, regardless if the charge is there, regardless if management is there, regardless if there's 50 patients or 10 patients. There's a system to make that happen. And regardless if the nurses want to do it or not, especially night shift, if you're tired, it don't matter. You got to get these things done. That's the structure of the hospital. But you have no structure for your life. You come home and you just do whatever. So you cannot rely on motivation, because motivation, like we said, is fleeting. And another mistake is just extreme diets. Please stop doing these keto, stop doing these very singular and segmented diets, because a lot of these diets restrict you. Mainstream, traditional, conventional methods of losing weight does not work with registered nurses working 12-hour shifts. If you cut your calories and you do more cardio, you're going to increase the cortisol production in your body. You're already stressed, you're already burnt out. So if you move more, when you move, your body releases cortisol. You guys know this. Now, when you restrict food while you're moving more, while you're burnt out, your cortisol numbers are going to be off the charts. And you're never going to lose weight like that. And obviously you won't be consistent. Lastly, this is a huge mistake a lot of nurses make, is waiting for all their ducks to be in a row. Waiting for all the conditions to be perfect before they take action so they can be consistent. They want their kids to grow up and move out of the house and go to college before they start taking action. They want all of their debt in their life to be gone. College debt, car debt, they want house paid off. They want everything to be perfect before they take action. And honestly, that is never going to happen, right? You guys know this in life. If it's not one thing, it's another thing, right? You pay off your house, and then something happens with your car tire, right? Your kids go to college, and now you want them to graduate college, and then after they graduate, now you want them to get married and have a house, and you want to help them with their house so they're all settled. There's always another thing coming up next in life. And if you don't just take the action to start and build that system around your life, you're always going to be chasing this goal. So this is one of my clients, Sharnice. She's been with me almost 2 years now, and we've been able to achieve so many amazing results. And prior to working with me, she was kind of struggling with being consistent, right? She's a full-time night shift nurse, really helping her family with a lot of different things. She's the oldest daughter. She's got a lot of stuff on her plate. So this was making it extremely hard for her to be consistent. And, she's in her mid-30s, and a lot of women, as soon as you get past 30, it's super hard to build lean muscle, right? Because of sarcopenia. But also the hormonal changes in your body makes it harder to lose the weight. She's a former track star. She was in shape in college. She was getting to it. But as she was getting older, she found that the things that she used to do wasn't really working the same anymore, right? So what do? We built a system around her life that accommodates for all the moving pieces, all the moving parts when she's working night shift, but then there was a season that she got rotated to day shift, and there was times where she was doing both day shift and night shift, and she was traveling. She had a lot of stuff that she was doing. We built a system around her life, and she's dropped over 15 pounds. She's down over 5 inches on her waist. She has bought so many new scrubs and clothes because all of her clothes don't fit anymore in a good way, that she's buying smaller clothes. And the main thing is she's mentally stronger. She has way more confidence, way more energy. She's getting so many things done now in a day versus what she used to do. And she's still working the same shift load and probably even more. Sometimes like she's working 4 nights instead of her typical 3. So she's been able to build a system around her life with the Hot Nurse Protocol, and she is taking control over her life now. So every goal that I encourage my clients to have is to have a system to withstand any moving part of your life. Because at the end of the day, you guys understand that you have to be healthy. And if you don't work on your health when you have the opportunity to, as you get older through life, your life will make you work on your health, right? So having a system that accommodates every single component of your life is the best way to stay consistent through life, and stay consistent through 12-hour shifts, and stay consistent through rotating schedules. So you can be fit, you can be healthy, you can be sexy, you can have all the energy and confidence that you're entitled to. So if this video resonated with you, if you know that you're overwhelmed with all the things you have going on in your life, it's probably a sign that you do need a system. And this is exactly what we do inside of the Hot Nurse Protocol. I developed this system working at MedStar Hospital during COVID because the nurses were super burnt out. They were making med errors and they just didn't know how to balance their life. So if you're interested in seeing how this system can work for you, click the link in the description and fill out the form for my one-on-one premium coaching program, and we'll see how this can work for you. But check out this video here because I think it's going to be extremely valuable for you. Thank you for watching. Peace.